Right, I think we're good to go. Let me see. Looks a bit laggy. Are we good? I think we are. Right, are we on? And I was slightly early as well. There we go. Right, let me just make sure we're all good. Yep. We're on. We are on. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sendik's Weather Channel. Yep, we're back again. Cheers to, as we're all joining, I'll start talking a bit. Do what I do best, yabber on about some stuff. But yeah, so that's it really. I'm gonna just check the everything's good. Yep. We're all good there. Got a few people in here. There we go. Hello to Sue, how are you doing? Hello to Chris. Hello to Bowling Thunderstorm, man. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone's doing great today. Obviously, we'll be going through everything. I did just want to say big thank you to everyone for the support on last night's video. I did really well. I really do appreciate it. Got the cup of tea, it's almost run out. We've already got 6 likes on stream. Jeez, I only started a few minutes ago. Car Thomas is in here, Epic Videos in here, and here's me thinking we'll get past like 10 viewers on the stream. Wow. I've put out a poll, or however you want to say it. Will it turn cold to end the month? I'd appreciate it if you all voted on it. Let me know what you think. Will it turn cold for the end of the month, or will it stay mild for the foreseeable future? Well, there we go. 10 viewers and 11 likes on stream, and we started less than a minute ago. Thank you all very much for joining the stream. Just read out a few of your names. There we go. Yep, you are always here, Epic Videos. Nice to see all the regulars in here as well. Much appreciate you all. Do appreciate you all for joining on this Monday evening. Got the cup of tea in the trusty dusty camper mug. Oh. You were just in time, to be fair. Right, well, should we not delay anything and get straight on to the good stuff? Straight on to the good stuff. Or should we chat a minute? So at the moment, we've got the poll up, whatever you want to call it. And we've had 9 votes, and 67% of you say yes. 33% said no. Birmingham Airport under a foot of white stuff. What is snow? I've not seen any of it. Right. Well, there's a teaser for the ECM. Right, I'm going to pull up the UKV firstly so we can have a look at the precipitation over the next 5 days, as we normally do. I've still got all the stuff, so if people subscribe and all that stuff, which you should do, by the way, the Weather Channel is popping off right now. No pressure. But yeah, we'll get straight on with things. So the UKV to start with, as we always start with for the next 5 days. Looks like the top of the screen's being cut off, but it should be alright. You can see it's precipitation. So through today, it's been mainly dry, apart from a little bit of wet weather moving through, like a weakening weather front, moving northwest to southeast, from the north to the south. And as it moves southwards, it's going to kind of fade away once it reaches the Midlands overnight into Tuesday. Now, Tuesday looks like a mainly dry day with a lot of thick cloud around. A couple of patchy drizzly showers may be possible in many regions, but obviously that would be difficult to pinpoint on these radars. But with that thick cloud, there could be some drizzly rain around. And there is actually some showing up in Western Wales, but nothing much on the precipitation front. Into Wednesday remains very cloudy. Weather fronts trying to enter from the southwest. From the northwest, I should say, into northwestern Scotland. Does get into northwestern Scotland, but against the high pressure, which is sat just over and just to the south of the country, it weakens as it enters the country. So not much going on there. Now as we go along, weather fronts approach from the northwest. Why do I keep saying southwest? And then they keep running into the high pressure and they just keep weakening, but they could produce some heavy rain for southern Scotland, northern Scotland, and Republic of Ireland at times before they quickly fizzle out. Which you can see, weather fronts continue to try and run in from off the Atlantic, and a more expanded area of low pressure weather front, a bigger weather front tries to move in from the west, but it is weakening as it moves in, so probably wouldn't be too significant for many areas. So that's the UKV. So if you have a look at the max temperatures over the next few days, you can see the cold air is just still about hanging on into the far southeast, but it is moving away now. But there might be a slight frost in the far southeast, like Herne Bay and places on that southeast coast, up tonight, and possibly into eastern areas such as like Suffolk, Norfolk, I should say. There we go. But then through Tuesday, temperatures expected to rise quite a lot to about 10-11 degrees into central areas and possibly western areas as well. Much of the country though in the south is still relatively around average, I'd say, with 6 to 7 degrees, and Scotland is probably just a little bit above average at 8 to 9 degrees. Tuesday looks like a milder night with temperatures widely 6, 7s and 8s besides this far east coast. Then through into Wednesday with the max temps getting to about 10-11 degrees again. The milder area is starting to move in now, so it's a bit better. Through Wednesday into Thursday, there's actually a frost possible in central and northern areas. Not for Scotland, though. Central, northern and northwestern areas and northern Wales there could see a frost, possibly. If anyone does... 1 minute. Let me turn that on. There we go. So through Friday, overnight into Friday, it doesn't look like there's a frost possible in many areas, besides maybe over the highest routes in the Pennines, possibly, but probably not. Friday does look like a widely cooler day for the central and southern and southeastern regions, with temperatures not getting much above 5 or 6 degrees. But with that milder southwesterly affecting northern Scotland and areas of the Republic of Northern Ireland, temperatures could reach the teens. And then into Saturday, there is a frost possible in the east, but obviously it's a bit of a way off in this sort of pattern. So there we go. That's the first chart in the mixer. Let me just turn that off. So we've ended the poll, and you all voted that you think it would happen. Now I'm going to pull up this chat so I can read it as we go along, because I haven't been keeping an eye on it. Richard's UK Tropical Garden Projects and Mini Golf is here. Hello to you. Suit said, I don't use Wetter anymore because it tried to hack me, which happened weeks ago now. Damn. Hello to Chris. I'm not sure if I shouted you out, but hello to you. Hello to Best Crazy Boy 848. How you doing? There we go. So we'll move on then to the main chart data, which is what you all want to see, I'm sure of it. Is that all in frame? Yes. So we'll start then by looking at the UK Met Office run. So at the moment, from the outset, we're all into a milder southwesterly wind, originating from in the Atlantic, as you can see here, and from like Spain. The Azores High is just to the southwest of Spain, as you can just make out there at the bottom of the chart. Now, I'm not sure if is my mouse showing up on the recording. I actually have no idea, but if it is, then there we go. So as we go along then, through Monday to Tuesday, winds originate from the southwest. Most mildest conditions in the north and northwest and the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, of course. But in the southeast, could hang on to some colder air under an inversion. Just in the far southeast, though, meaning that it might be a little bit chilly. What was that ping? Do apologise. The UK Met Office keeps it mild up to Saturday and Sunday, the 19th next weekend, before it does bring in unsettled weather from the Atlantic, which makes it a bit milder. It's still mild, wet and windy. Most areas affected in the north and the west. However, as you can see, this low pressure here, just to our southwest, is ready to move in, and probably is going to affect central and southern Britain there. Obviously, it's a bit of a way out, and there's something to watch out for. The icon then, by comparison, is very similar for the next few days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Mild, wet and windy, mild, and then turning wet and windy for the weekend in the north and the west. There's that low pressure, a bit more elongated with the icon, so it's not as strong as when it reaches the country, but it's still mild, and it's generally a bit of a bland southwesterly pattern, especially in the south there. Mildest conditions in the south. 2 metre temperatures, by example, are actually still cold in the south overnight, but reaching double figures by day. Now we'll move on to the GFS 12Z run, which is very much the same, much for muchness with high pressure over, and just to the east of the country, bringing in winds from the south and southwest. Doesn't bring in that low pressure interlude like the other two runs did, we've just looked at. and it kind of tries to build a heights towards Scandinavia, trying to bring in easterly winds, which some of the runs have been doing, with high pressure trying to build around Scandi. However, low pressure is so strong in the Atlantic, the polar vortex keeps bringing in wet and windy weather that it's the kind of a battleground. In this case, the Atlantic wins out and we get some very stormy weather in the northwest. That will be a name storm, that one. 965 millibars at the centre. And the winds just wrap in from the west-southwest, and that is a very mild pattern. That is not what you want if you like cold. You'd expect the upper level air to be much milder than this, actually. I think it's underdoing what the temperatures would be like. -5 lines would not be moving in like this, I would assume. Because there would be snow possible with that, but it would be very mild at this stage. Very wet, very windy, and probably flooding will be the main issue with this stormy pattern, which is not what you really want at this time of year. Now, if we have a look at the GM by comparison, then got the cup of tea to drink. Very similar for the next few days. Then there's a little bit of low pressure sinks through the country, bringing a little bit of rain to Republic of Ireland and southwestern England. High pressure kind of remains over the top of the country, with cooler interludes kind of looking quite zonal. With cooler interludes but milder interludes at the same time. Pretty flat and westerly and quite zonal. Nothing much of interest there. And then the ECM, very similar but more high pressure dominated. Maybe showers possible in the north and west into next week. High pressure is starting to build at the end, which is quite interesting. Starting to build more towards Scandinavia. It's trying to have a go at building towards Scandinavia and pulling some colder easterly winds. There is a little bit of cold air to our east, but it would require a few days of easterlies to bring that cold air in from areas such as Siberia, Russia, Norway. Would take quite an easterly for that to happen. We'll have a look at a model which I'm not sure what people think of it, the AI ECM model, and we'll see what that's showing. Actually, a bit more unsettled with this one, but again, kind of mixed with low pressure trying to push in, and it does successfully in the longer term. Very deep areas of low pressure pushing in around the end of the month, but with colder air masses mixed in as well as the low pressures clear away to our east. So that's quite interesting. It does bring in cooler conditions at time, but again, quite zonal, quite flat, quite westerly, quite Atlantic dominated. Let's keep going. Let's at Andrew, evening from Liverpool. Yep, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. There we go. They've still keeps that stormy pattern going from the latest runs. Yeah, we don't want that to happen, really, do we? Let's be honest. Let's have a look at the precipitation with the GFS and look at these storms it's spinning up. Obviously, it's a long way out. There's the storms it's wrapping in there. There's that storm, which will be a name storm, 950 millibars at the centre, pushing in some very wet weather. And obviously behind the low pressures as a clear away, there could be winteriness on the back edge, but unlikely to verify. Just continued low pressure moving in from off the Atlantic, just battering the country generally, to be honest. Not great at all. If you're wanting anything pleasant of the sort. Now, why don't we have a look at the GFS ensembles and see what all of them are showing. I'm not going to look at the average. So we'll start with control and we'll go from like 120 hours or something. Run number 1 kind of just keeps it unsettled. Mild, wet and windy. Run number 1. Let's have a look. Is very unsettled. Mild, wet and windy. Brief cooler interludes looking quite zonal there. And that's a northwesterly, so it's a bit cooler there at that point. There you go, the -10 line into Scotland. But it's not going to last long. It's a zonal pattern. Run number 2 is high pressure dominated. High pressure trying to ridge to our north, but kind of toppling under the lows towards Greenland. Pushing it away. Run number 3 has a bit of unsettled weather around next week, the beginning of next week. Then it goes mild, wet and windy with winds in from the west-southwest, trying to build heights to our northeast, but doesn't quite get on with it. Run number 4 digs a deep area of low pressure to our south, which probably is a little bit of a different pattern. Might be a little bit cooler for a time before it goes very mild again. Very mild, wet and windy again. Looks very zonal with these runs, I must say. Doesn't look great. Run number 5 then well, dry, high and dry, really, with winds in from the west-southwest. Looking quite pleasant, actually. Looking quite pleasant and not wintry at all. Number 6, obviously, as if you do get like prolonged of high pressure set over the top of the country, there could be inversions and it could feel quite cold at the surface if the high pressure sticks around for long enough. Run number 6 brings in low pressure around day 10, which makes it unsettled, but the lows are on a northwest-southeast alignment, so there could be colder potential there. Doesn't last long, the lows keep rattling in, so it's mild, wet and windy, you'd say there. Run number 7, not much of interest with low pressures. That's like a tropical low, that would not be good for the country, that, wow. Run number 8 is very similar with high pressure, kind of. Oh, well, it's just toppling away and then it's just low pressures rattling in from off the Atlantic. It's not great with that. Very stormy again, unsettled, not what we want to see. Run number 9, I'm only going through 10 because these are depressing. Has a very strong polar vortex, strongest I've seen in a long time. Just low pressure everywhere. High pressure to the south, winds in from the southwest for the whole run, and very unsettled and quite stormy with that one as well. Run number 10 then, will it save the day? 1 and 10 Ben? No, it won't. It's unsettled. It does try and get colder at a time as heights build to our north, but doesn't pull it off properly, and mild, wet and windy looks like the dominant feature there. I'll see you later, Sue. Cheers for joining us. Still keeps that stormy pattern going from the latest runs. I know it's a bit sad, really, isn't it? It's not looking great there, is it? Not looking great at all. Right, let's keep going then. Run number 11. Oh, this looks a bit better. Here we go. Right, this is looking much better now. Heights are strongly building towards Scandinavia with run number 11. 1 out of the bunch is going for a little bit colder. Winds still aren't cold though for us they're trying to get in from the east, but they're still arriving from the southwest as there's so much energy in the PV with these lows spinning up. And it just kind of weakens. Does have another go at reattempt at building heights, but it doesn't quite. Look at all that cold air going into the Eastern Europe there, Eastern and Western Europe there, but missing the UK just about, and keeping it mild. But that's the first interesting one we've seen. Run number 12 is mild and dry, actually. Run number 13, unlucky for some. This one definitely is unlucky because nothing happens. 14, then, is mild, wet and windy. Wow, this is looking stormy. Prepare yourself for some storms. Run number 15 is very unsettled, mild, wet and windy. Run number 16 tries to build heights, but it kind of builds like a cold ridge over the top of the country in around 9 days' time, but then it's back to high pressure, and then milder, wet and windy at the end of the run. Number 17 then is, well, what do you expect? Mild, wet and windy. Number 18 is unsettled, cold, wet and windy. Run number 19 is trying to get it colder around the 22nd. Day 9, not many going for this now. Trying to build heights towards Scandinavia, and does successfully, just about, and then it topples. Run number 20 has high pressure, and then low pressure rattling in from off the Atlantic in about 10 days' time. Going very stormy, unsettled, and wet. 21 has, I don't know why I said it like that, has high pressure, and then low pressure rattling in from off the Atlantic around day 10, bringing some stormy, unsettled weather back to the UK. Again, all these runs trying to build heights to our east, but they're just not strong enough to warrant bringing in an easterly or anything like that. Run number 22 is high pressure, trying to ridge to our north, doesn't quite at that point, but it could be a bit more interesting in the longer range. 23 is trying to build heights towards Scandinavia, and does successfully. Alright, let's have a look at this then. This is the first run that tries to do something cool. There's a little bit of cold air to our east, but it's not great, and this easterly pulls the -5 line in, but it's very iffy. It's not great at all, really. And it's not a proper It's not a proper block towards Scandinavia. It's kind of like a flimsy ridge towards Scandinavia and doesn't last long. It kind of topples away very quickly. 24 is mild, wet and windy. What do you expect? Winds in from the south there. Looks very similar to 2015 with that one. That would bring the temps into the mid-teens, I'd expect. 25 has that colder northerly wind at a point. Then it gets colder. This is the run which I used for the thumbnail. This was the only cold run which was feasible to use. Just bring in a bit of an easterly for a time, bring in the -5 line for the whole country, around the 24th, 25th, and then builds heights towards Greenland in the longer term, builds a proper Greenland high, and here we go. Low pressure rattling in from off the Atlantic, trying to ridge into the country. That's going to be a snow event, but this is the cherry picking runs here. This is the only good one out of the bad bunch. Look at that, the -5 line sinks through the country, and that looks quite cold and wintry. It's the only one I've seen doing that, though. Run number 26 looks a bit more west-northwesterly, so it's a bit cooler, and could be more showers of wintry nature in the north, but mild, wet and windy. 27 is stormy, very stormy, very stormy. About 20 storms rolling through there. 28 is high pressure, high pressure, high pressure, high pressure to the south, low pressure to the north, winds in from the southwest, and that looks very mild until the end of the run. 29 is low pressure rattling in from off the Atlantic, very stormy, and finally run number 30 has bit of a northwest southeast alignment to the jet stream, bringing in low pressures from a northwesterly alignment, so it could bring colder air masses in at times, as indicated there. See, -5 getting in at times. But again, it's a very similar, broad similar pattern. Bit more transient ridge at the end, which allows cold northerly winds. Not going to last for long, though, as the Atlantic reigns supreme. So if we have a look at them options, then nothing looks particularly good. There's the ensemble graph for this. It's so it's not great. It's mild for the time being for the next 7-8 days. Then there's a bit more scatter. But again, the amount of colder runs has massively reduced besides in the longer term. So just something to watch out for. But it doesn't look great at this stage. This is going to be a very short live stream because, I just wanted to go through things and I didn't fancy making a video today. Didn't want to ruin the 2000 I had yesterday. Cheers all for watching that one. Did quite well. Read through some of your chats. So have a read of some of you here. Even it's turning milder. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is mild now. Hi, Paul. Hi to you. You've joined too late, Paul. We're wrapping things up. I know it's been a very quick stream, but there's these. The update is that it does look like it is going to be mild for at least a week, maybe longer. There is a potential of it going a bit cooler at times in the southeast if this high stays around for a long time. Hopefully you can, Inspector, get on your motorbike. You should be able to. Won't see why not. It looks quite dry. If we have a look at the rainfall graph, there's not anything. There's literally nothing for at least 7 days there. More spikes in the longer term with the unsettled period beginning around day 10, albeit with a lot of scatter, like I said. But yeah, it's dry for the next 7 days by the looks of things, so get on your motorbike, I guess. Well, that's it, though. I'm going to wrap it up. Cheers, everyone, for tuning in. Now, it's been a bit of a quieter live stream, but I'd sometimes prefer it like that, to just chat to people and see how everyone's getting on. So cheers all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everyone.